kind of antsy because I didn't know I was going to have such a crowd here. And I've got some new technology I'm playing with today, so that's kind of exciting. If you've ever done one of these and recorded yourself, and you really kind of want to like question how bad your accent is, and I know I have an absolutely horrible accent, and I say a lot and like, so you should definitely do that, and then for the next 2 weeks kind of question why you have ever spoke before. But so this is a little speech that I'm going to be giving in Birmingham sometime for a group of, it was going to start out as just a men's group, and it's kind of like a young entrepreneurs group. Friend of mine, or actually a client of mine, set this up, and he's helped me out a lot. So manufacturing motivation, right? Who knows what that is? Anybody? Okay, well, it's pretty simple. It is, and I've got kind of like a definition. It's creating motivation when you otherwise have none. So you may be saying to yourself, why is that important, right? Okay, I mean, so you can participate too. It's important because we need to be able to readily access motivation so that we can get through the things in life that are kind of monotonous, right? Who woke up today and thought, yes, it's Tuesday, I'm ready to dominate? Boom, I love that. Yes, I love that because I have to do that myself because, okay, the monotony of life, I mean, how many people kind of woke up and you're like, oh, it's Tuesday. It's the same thing as Monday, the same thing as Wednesday, right? You probably wake up, you come to work, and about like, I don't know, 9:15, you probably think to yourself, oh man, lunch is coming. And so that's like the highlight of your day until lunchtime. And then you go to lunch, and then after lunch you think, man, I cannot wait to get off. 3 hours and 17 minutes. And then like a few minutes later, you're like, how much time has gone by? 3 hours and 11 minutes till I get off, right? Everybody does that, don't they? But if you can manufacture motivation, you can get excited by life. I have a friend of mine, actually a guy I went to high school with. He wrote a book called Get Excited on Purpose. A guy named Brian Johnson. Works for the Arsenio Hall show now. Super awesome guy, super awesome book. If you can check that out, Get Excited on Purpose. But here's what I want you to do, okay? I want you to learn to manufacture motivation. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to look to thrive instead of merely surviving. Okay, surviving, that's what we're doing. 3 hours and 11 minutes till I get off, and then I can go home and watch American Idol, right? Because that's not what we want to do. We want to thrive. We're going to find personal fulfillment in every day, okay? So every day, we're going to find something we can do that fulfills us. We're not just going to find fulfillment in like anything. We're going to find things that make us better. And then we're going to use personal comparisons and examples. This is what I use the most and kind of my favorite, and it's the one that kind of puts me in check, okay? Because I find that I can put myself in check. Well, I'll take that back. Mary Catherine and my dad can put me in check really well. But outside of that, okay, so like I said, most people live the same week over and over again. You never get a change. And you're getting stuck in this like state of monotony. Right? It's like this malaise that comes about you. And you get off work, you go home, and you're just like, let me play Clash of Clans or whatever on your phone. You're not actively participating in life. Here's how we're going to break that. Okay? Look to thrive instead of merely surviving. What is thriving? Anybody? We have an answer for that? Okay, I like to look at thriving as a person who does well because they constantly want to improve their situation. They're not just doing well because they're placed in a situation, they're thriving in life. Okay, you can't thrive if you're in a good spot, like, I don't know, you have a great job or financially you're doing well, but you're kind of like in a stagnant state mentally. You're not thriving, you're again surviving, but at a better spot. And we know what surviving is. You're just trying to make it by looking at the clock, being like 2 hours, 45 minutes, how much time left? That's survival. That's the mere minimum. We want to do better than that. All right, we deserve that to ourselves. We deserve that to our family, the energy that we give. Okay? How does thriving manufacture motivation? Right? Because that's what we want to do. We want to create motivation intrinsically. How does it do that? It puts us in a can-do attitude. Mary Catherine knows, like, if you ever see me and I get excited about something, it takes like very little to motivate me. Like anything in life, if you're like, hey, Pate, let's do blah, 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 I'll be very serious and I'll look at somebody and it's like instantaneously, it's like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, that's me. But that's not everybody, okay? I know that. Different people are, wired differently. You have to put yourself in that mindset of I can do whatever I want to. And I'm going to be a realist here because we all know that's not possible because different people have different talents. But I think for most of our daily tasks, we can do them, right? And we can do them better than we probably do right now. Okay. So if you can pull that can-do mindset off and manufacture that motivation and simply put yourself in I need to thrive merely more than I need to survive, boom, that's motivation right there. Find personal fulfillment in things you do every day, okay? And so by that, I mean you have to find things that fulfill you. This is going to have to be something you figure out yourself. For me, I like books. I don't get to read them a lot, but I like them. I love learning. Like I'm like a sponge now. I don't know why. Self-improvement, working with my hands, yoga, all of a sudden that's become big in my life. I probably don't do it as much as I should because I'm lazy. And then working out. Okay, and then social interactions. These are things that make me feel fulfilled. I find fulfillment from that, and then I can transfer that fulfillment into other activities. That's why that's important. You have to learn how to transfer your energy from one task to the other. Like, I don't know, doing quarterly reports or whatever you guys do every day, that probably stinks. That doesn't sound like fun, right? It's not. But if you can take this energy that you've had from other tasks and boom, transfer it into something else, it makes your day that much better. It makes you not look at the clock and just beat yourself up mentally. Okay? Again, TV, play it on your phone, Facebook, these aren't things that count as fulfilling. You have to actively be involved in something. You're like, reading, how's that actively involved? Because you're using your mind, you're learning something, you're participating. I want everybody to think, I want to live actively, not passively. There's actually a blog about that on my website. If you go to the YouTube video, see this on YouTube, I'll put a link to it. But yeah, it's on living actively versus living passively. I really think you guys should think about that. And like I said, transference of energy and transference of activity. You can do that through fulfillment. Now you're asking yourself, personal comparisons and motivation. I mentioned that earlier. That's what gets me going, right? What is that? Okay, well, let's look at, I'll use my example. Who here has seen the TV show Entourage? Okay. Who knows Ari Gold? Okay. Ari's a guy, he is an agent for the character on the show, and I realize he's fiction, but I like to constantly compare myself to Ari because I want to be a shark, right? I want to eat. Like, I'm not a guppy, I want to go and get it. And I think back to this part on an episode of Entourage where where the main character calls Ari at like 5 in the morning because Ari had been waking him up really early. And he said, Ari, and then he tells him something, and he's trying to do that so he wakes him up. But Ari, at that point in time, he's sitting on his bike reading scripts at 5 in the morning. And I think to myself, like, how many Ari goals out there, like, while I'm sleeping are doing that, right? Or like Wolf of Wall Street. A lot of people found that movie offensive. It got me jacked. Like, for the next 4 hours after that, I did nothing but work on content. I mean, I can't even look at that, like, pictures of that movie without just getting completely jacked. So find things you can compare yourself to. I mean, I don't know what, gets you going, okay? LeBron James, let's look at LeBron. Like, what does LeBron do? Okay, he goes out almost every night and dominates. Like, if you watched the Heat game last night, the Heat were playing terrible. LeBron put up 48, ended up pretty much taking care of the game for him, okay? Do you think LeBron gets tired, like, going out and dominating every single night? You don't think he does? I think he does. I mean, that's hard. That's something really hard. It's super easy if you're in his position to get lax. I mean, he has millions of dollars, and I'll take this to say, he is wiredly differently than us. We mentioned that before. He's probably a person to get to that level that has to be wired somewhat differently. But he's also very talented. But I'm telling you, when you have multiple millions of dollars, you have, the rest of your life, you could probably take, just a sit back, a seat and kind of like let things go, write out your contract. You, for the rest of your life, have endorsements. I mean, that would be pretty easy. You've won championships. You're widely considered one of the greatest players to ever live. Like, what do you have to keep you going? You have to find things. And so, I mean, when you're sitting at your desk and you're like, ugh, Tuesday, compare yourself to LeBron. What would LeBron do in this situation? Would he be looking to survive, or is he looking to thrive? I don't know. LeBron, you're probably better at your work than LeBron is. Who knows? Or you can look at people. I look at like Pat and Larry. Who everybody here works for Woodman. You don't, but most people here work for Woodman. Pat and Larry, like, look at their life. It's like probably pretty tough to get where they got. They like made their way up through the ranks. Okay, they like kind of battled their way up. Do you think there were some tasks maybe that were semi-monotonous that they just had to push through? And
still are.
Exactly. But do you think they sit there? They probably do complain about it because we all like to complain, and complaining can be a good motivator, but it also can make us lethargic in the same. But you see what I'm saying? Like, look at these comparisons and compare yourself. Like, in those moments of weakness, in those moments when you need strength, how do I compare myself to that? And if none of that works, like, another one for me, like, look in the mirror and say, do I owe myself more? Like, intrinsically ask yourself, like, am I surviving or am I thriving in this moment? That's a huge thing for me. Like, I can compare myself to whoever. I can compare myself to Ari, but there's certain times I say to myself, do I owe myself more in this moment? Do I owe more to my wife? Do I owe more to my future kids? Like, my parents busted their ass their entire life to put me in this position. Like, what am I doing right now? Look in the mirror, compare yourself, right? Think to yourself, like, am I living as fulfilled as I can be? Or am I just simply being lethargic and going through the steps? Any questions?